Hello and welcome back to another video on the Wrestler's Way and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. And of course, it's the first Smackdown since WrestleMania and everything that went down there. So of course we're going to get all the fallout from that one. The Smackdown after Mania, if that's even a thing. But it does likely mean we'll get some NXT call-outs. So it's going to be a packed episode of Smackdown, which kicks off with Ronda Rousey recapping her title match from last weekend. She challenged Charlotte to an I Quit match. Charlotte showed up on the Titan channel and said that she would not accept the challenge, telling Ronda to go back to the locker room. Ronda fired back and said she was going to get away or another one before the show moved on. And this kind of just felt like a logical step really after everything and all the controversy that happened at WrestleMania. So an I Quit match, that's a good idea, and I think that will be where Ronda finally regains her title. But for what this was, it kind of does feel like the main story coming out. So good way to kick off the show. Before we got Xavier Woods versus Butch. Woods was taken down early on, and Butch later on, and the New Day member then managed to reverse it into a tackle before in the corner and sent Butch into the turnstiles. Before Xavier was locked in the joint manipulation hold. Woods countered Butch with a leg sweep and drop kick, but the match headed outside with the King of the Ring winner taking a drop on the apron. After a break, Butch stomped on Woods' head and took him down with a kick, and Woods counted in with a small package to pick up the victory. The match was okay, but to be honest, Pete Dunne really should be beating Woods here. It just makes him look like a weak link of the group, which he's definitely not. Before backstage, Sami Zayn told Alex Pierce that he was humiliated at WrestleMania and said that he would face anyone who walks through the door. Drew McIntyre was the one to walk out, and despite Zayn asking him not to, Pierce booked the match for later that night. Ludwig Kaiser, formerly known as Martel Bartel, and Gunther came out, and the Ring General made his SmackDown debut. He hit an early hip toss straight away before the former Imperium member caught him up and sent him up into the corner with a chop before dropping him with a big boot. Alonso then took out some more chops to the chest, but Gunther dropped him in the ring. The former UK champion then hit his signature powerbomb and picked up an easy win. This was a good one, but where's the other members of Imperium, and why is he now called Ludwig Kaiser? Raquel Gonzalez then made her debut. She's now Raquel Rodriguez. People do watch NXT, we don't know their freaking names. Why do you keep changing them? It's just so bloody strange. Corbin and Moss are out next, and Corbin blamed Moss for his loss at Mania. Corbin said that Moss was getting too big for his suspenders and his jokes were terrible. Corbin told Moss to tell him his job depends on it, and Madcap made fun of it in return. A brawl broke out and Corbin dominated and tossed out his best friend. To be honest, I think it seemed pretty inevitable that this would happen at some point. The tensions were growing before Mania, so it makes sense, and looking forward to seeing what they can do on their own. Before Ronda was backstage, and Adam Pearce told her he will try and get an I Quit match with Charlotte. And before we got Drew versus Sami, Sami left the ring early on, and Drew chased him down the barricades before the former champ sent him back into the ring, but Sami tried to bail out once more. Drew chased him down and dragged him back to ringside before sending him through the ropes and back into the ring. The Scottish Warrior set out for the Claymore, and Sami managed to escape one last time, disappearing into the crowd before the ref counted him out. Come on. Surely we could have had a proper match here. It didn't do much for Drew, didn't do much for Sami. 6 out of 10 from me, and that's just being generous, really. Lacy Evans then made a return. We got an emotional childhood video, so I guess she's a babyface then. But looking forward to seeing her back. Before we got Sasha Banks versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan had control of the match and got on a few early pin attempts before Banks started her in the pace. Olivia Boston hit the backstabber and sent Morgan outside before we headed to a break. Back on SmackDown, Banks got the double knees in the corner but took a knee strike off Liv for a counter. The two were on the top rope, and the women's tag champ hit a suplex, but Morgan rolled her up, getting a pin. Come on. Surely the person who's just won the tag belts at WrestleMania should be winning this match. It's a big elevation for Liv Morgan, but the champions who just became champion a few days ago should be winning this one, really, in my opinion. That's just my thoughts. Roman Reigns was out next and said that despite beating Brock at Mania, he still had a lot to accomplish. Roman added that the Usos need to get 2 more titles by unifying the tag belts too. Reigns instructed his cousins to go to Raw and secure the tag team championships in the name of the bloodline. Nakamura then interrupted Roman and stepped into him, but the tribal chief stopped him from speaking. Reigns said that he knew why Nakamura was out here, and that's to give him a hug to make up for Boo's injury. The Usos took Shinsuke down with the tandem super kicks before celebrating with the tribal chief as they went off the air. Is Nakamura really next opponent? Because if so, I definitely didn't see that coming, but I'd be intrigued if it was. Could be just a good first match, but I thought maybe since WrestleMania they'd give a higher profile, character like Drew McIntyre maybe first, but we'll see where it goes. It's definitely creates intrigue. But yeah, overall this week SmackDown gets a 5 out of 10 from me. I kind of feel like the same about, as I said about Raw and NXT this week. I just don't feel like they built on momentum from WrestleMania properly. I mean, like, there's a few bits in there, but yeah, lots of the creative booking I didn't think made a lot of sense, and like just the name changing and stuff like that of NXT characters has really grind my gears, to be honest. But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and any thoughts, comments down below. Follow on Twitter, Instagram for daily wrestling news. Subscribe to my channel on screen, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.